Hey guys, so hear me again. I'm going to I'm gonna eat this. It's my exposure for today. I'm gonna have basically this one piece of paratha. Just got a plate. Where are you? Yes, here. Because I need to do my exposure today. Before I get into my exposure though, which I want to just take a moment aside, if I can just talk to you guys. I'm having a very stressful day. I just kind of started. It's not too stressful. Just something can happen. I had a small, disagreement with my father. It's not a big deal. It's just that when you want to do an exposure, what you want to do is get that out of the way as fast as possible. You don't want to dwell on any arguments you've been having with your family members, your friends, your loved ones, your co-workers when you do an exposure, because when you do, what happens is you're thinking about that and you're not thinking about the exposure. You're not thinking about how your anxiety is making you feel. You're not thinking about how your specific anxiety is making you feel right now. For example, when you're eating and then it's going down your throat and you feel like a tightness, you're going to think about your father. You're going to think about whatever else was going on. So the best way to deal with that is to just talk about it, get it out in the open, forget about it, and breathe a lot. Do the nostril breathing. I highly recommend that. You guys do those things, because I know it's probably a problem for some people to start their exposures. And it's like, how do I start? This guy makes it look so easy. He probably doesn't have anxiety. He's just doing this for the views. Well, I understand. I was like you guys. I didn't want to do exposure. I didn't even take this stuff seriously. Then one day I realized, what's the harm in trying it? I mean, just put all your effort into it. What's the worst that's going to happen? Really? And I realized the worst was going to happen is that, well, I wouldn't get better, which is about the same as I was at that time. So it's basically about taking a risk. All right, some people don't use this word faith. Use whatever word you want to use. Take a risk. Take a leap of faith. Even in material sciences, we use this word leap of faith. Take a leap of faith, and you'll never look back. You'll be like, wow, this is so great. I love doing exposures. They're like the best thing in the world. All right. So that being said, let's begin the exposure today. We have here paratha, a little Coke, obviously, and my little stand for the video that we're gonna watch, which is gonna be, I think it's A&E. See, I have this. Oh, not A&E today. We're gonna do A&E probably tomorrow or the day after, depends how fast we get this video done with. Today we're gonna do real original stories. I don't know who does this. It is real stories. I think it's on TV somewhere, or maybe it's just perhaps just a YouTube thing. So it's called Pure O, Thinking the Unthinkable Extreme OCD Art Documentary, Real Stories Original. Just to caveat this a little bit, I don't have OCD. I was misdiagnosed with OCD when I really had OCPD. The problem is they're very similar. The main difference is one is egosyntonic, one is ego-dystonic. If you don't know that, just quickly Google it. It's not that big of a deal. You'll figure it out. Pretty self-explanatory. Anyway, because of my OCPD, sometimes I mimic symptoms of OCD in terms of pure O. Pure O is a subset of OCD and OCPD. So they share this, pure O, and it's a symptom where the person thinks a lot. They obsess about everything to the point where it has to be perfect, mentally perfect. Your life has to be crafted perfectly in your brain before you can actually do anything. It's quite debilitating because it never allows you to start to do anything. You're always obsessing about how to start. So this is something I do struggle with from time to time. I have this pure obsessive thinking where I just can't deal with what am I supposed to be doing right now in terms of to be the most efficient. When instead, sometimes you just got to do it. You just got to show up and go up and get up and just show up. I've heard showing up is really, really important. At least that's what I've observed. Sometimes I don't want to do something. I just kind of just not even push myself. I just say you gotta show. You gotta show up a little bit. You gotta try a little bit to at least get yourself in the door, and then if you don't want to do it after that, don't. I mean, you will though, because once you get yourself in the door, it becomes easier. So with that being said, let's begin the exposure. Let's begin the video. So let me just put this down here so you guys can see as good as possible. All right. So first thing I'm gonna do, obviously, what is my level of anxiety of choking on this? I'm gonna go with a 0 because it's brown food, and I really enjoy brown food. So exposure.
Scenarios in my head played out over and over again of me snapping someone's neck, punching them.
I was really convinced I was a really bad person. I had no understanding of what was going on in my mind. Every 10 seconds, I had an intrusive thought popping into my head, and it went on for months.
I thought, oh, it'll go away, it's just a thing. Didn't go away.
I'm Alison, and I've had Puro and OCD for 16 years. A lot of the things I think about are violent, so I'll think about shouting things out, hitting someone, pushing them downstairs. I'll be sitting in the passenger side when Mum's driving, and I can see my hand on the steering wheel, and I can see myself steering the car into oncoming traffic, and it's like it's almost already done. I have a funny kind of experience with unwanted thoughts, because at first, when I didn't know what intrusive thoughts were, I thought they were terrible. I thought they were absolutely terrible. I don't really want to push my mum down the stairs. Like, a part of me is so sure that that's what needs to happen and that I'm going to do it. I would be shocked with the way that I sometimes talk to my mum. I'll say to her, I really want to push you downstairs. I really want to hit you. I really want to snap your neck. And she's like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's okay. Cool. Nice. Anyway, what's for dinner? What are you cooking? Da, da, da. I know she's really tired of it, and sometimes she'll play along.
These thoughts are...
Sorry, I'm gonna rewind that. There was a stat.
consistent with their values, and therefore...
Along.
These thoughts are what we call inconsistent with their values, and therefore they are ridiculous and absurd to the individual, and therefore they do not get any gratification from them or pleasure. They're extremely distressing to the individual, and they're spending their life trying to get rid of them or control them.
Everyone has intrusive thoughts. Most people, when waiting for a train, might have thought, what happens if I stepped out in front of it? Someone might be cutting something up with their kitchen knife, and they might suddenly realise it would actually be incredibly easy to just stab someone with this. A person with pure O might dwell on that thought more than average. They might be concerned that says something about them.
You'll have a thought, you'll go over it and over it and over it and over it. It could be absolutely anything, but it is just thinking. But thinking constantly and at that pace, it makes you exhausted.
Pure O is a term used by sufferers to describe symptoms of obsessive compulsive disorder, where people experience intrusive thoughts, images, urges, doubts inside their mind, which are extremely distressing. Or common obsessional thoughts and worries might be around sex and violence or religious themes. So, for example, in a sexual obsessions, it might be the fear that you're a paedophile when you're not, or that you're going to push people in front of the train.
My name is Kirk Stacey. I am a self-employed illustrator. OCD likes different themes to torture its host with. With the religious stuff, you get a lot of guilt. Don't say this, don't go there, don't do that. If I thought of a joke and laughed, oh, that's rude, you can't say that. You have to say sorry to God, otherwise he will punish you. So I was a religious person, even though I wasn't religious. I think the images were just a flicker of a thought. It was like a person in a white gown. There was another one, it was a crucifix. There was another one, image of the Pope or Christ. They flash, bang, it's there and it's out. It's like a knife goes in, it comes out. You've got this overwhelming anxiety and also guilt. You feel guilty for having these thoughts that you cannot control. I felt that that was the torture I deserved for having a thought in the first place. So you're trapped in this cycle.
The point being, it's not your fault, and there are lots of things that then shape you during childhood and adolescence, but there is really always various triggers or things that are associated with the onset. Not always, but quite often.
My name's Nathan, I'm 24 and I'm from Hertfordshire. I think what happened when I was about 11, my nan died. I became so worried that I would lose my mum that I had these obsessive thoughts about her dying, and I remember I would just constantly ask her if she was okay. She got really irritated because I was just asking her too much. Like, nobody wants to be asked the same question again and again and again. The thought of my mum dying terrified
My history goes back 25 years. The trigger for me, secondary school, was myself and a few friends who went to local newsagents to get some snacks. And I saw one of my friends, as he walked in, grab some pick and mix and shoved it in his pocket. And I thought, that's how easy it is. Well, I'll have a crack and I can show off to my friends. As I came out, hey guys, look what I've got. The store detective was walking in the shop and she heard it. Did you steal those? I was marched in the shop and I think he said, well, this is really bad. The police are going to go to your house, have a word with your parents. They may have to go to your school. It just weighed on me with all these threats. And I thought then, my mates have probably just spread it like wildfire. As a result, I became kind of school phobic. The more they tried to push you against that fear, the more it affects you. It's really, really a sad time that one incident could create such a traumatic effect.
The area I live in, super quiet, nothing happens, but I just feel like someone's going to jump out. Everyone is a danger. Everyone is violent. Everyone could kill me. I might hurt somebody else if they attack me. That's kind of my big thing at the moment, is that every second I'm calculating what's a weapon that I can use to protect myself with. I last left the house Christmas Eve, so from Christmas Eve until 12th of January, but it's not felt strange, it's just felt safe. I really hate the beginning of the year because I think, well, it's another year that I've not changed or I've not progressed. Other people are doing it, so why am I still here struggling?
Yeah, the first time seeing my GP, I said, I thought I was going blind, and then for some reason I convinced myself I was developing schizophrenia, which my uncle has schizophrenia, so a kind of genuine worry, if you will, like, that didn't pluck itself out of nowhere, like I had a reason, there was kind of some substance, I guess, to that obsession. I literally would just stay in the bed with the laptop for 2 weeks. There's no use trying. My parents would try and get me up and things. I just kind of have to be left alone. Like I'm not gonna be able to function. You just kind of have to leave me. But they were just worried. They were kind of realising there was something wrong.
What healthy people without OCD experience are exactly the same content as the intrusive thought.
Guys, real quick, I just wanted to say, I spit up a little bit of the paratha I ate. Not because I was fearing I was going to choke. And honestly, because I was fearing I was going to hallucinate and it was going to change to a different thing. Which really, when that happens, I know for the most part to just yell, like at the hallucination, that's not real. Like in my head. And for the most part, I know with medication, food doesn't just randomly turn into bugs. Most importantly, though, I think the reason is because I spit out this food because I have a control. I need to be in control of anything going in my mouth, how I chew it, how I swallow it, how it digests in my body, and how I pick it. This is all choices I'm making that allow me to feel in control. So, simply what I wanted to say about that was, that's why I spit up a little bit. It was hard for me to get to figuring out what my anxiety level was at the end. Could also be possible that I got into an argument with my father, and that's probably what's muddling the results. I'm trying my best to be relaxed and stay as positive as possible, while also allowing myself to be as mindful as possible, not lying to myself saying, oh no, I feel great, when in reality I have anxieties here and there, and I feel it in my body. So with that being said, I'm going to eat this donut here. I got a chocolate donut, got from Timmy's, and then I'm just going to end the exposure and talk about what we learned here. Yeah, so unfortunately there won't be an end anxiety level to this video, since I could not make one since I spit up. Not a big deal, these things happen from time to time, things are bothering you and you forget, and next thing you know, you're puking out, at least it is for me. This is my personal feelings. What happens, I end up just spitting stuff up. Even though I know it tastes good and I want to eat it and I'm yum, and there's nothing wrong with, I don't feel any sort of choking phobia, still, I just want to spit it out sometimes. As you guys know, I've had a very odd relationship with food. I'll get into it later. Let's just continue watching this.
Once they occur in OCD, the content is the same, but the problem in pure O is the meaning which you're attached to them. Perhaps thinking these things means that I might act upon them, or that I'm immoral for having these thoughts, or in the way that you respond to them, control them, or avoid them, or suppress them. All these things feed the obsession.
2003, I had a really bad ear infection. It just felt like someone was sticking a red hot needle needle in there. I was diagnosed with a cholesteatoma, which is like a tumour inside. It destroys the inside of the ear, and left untreated, it can invade the brain and cause meningitis, that kind of stuff. And they arranged an operation, but we have to be careful not to hit the facial nerve, otherwise the side of your face will drop. I thought, well, I'll put the operation on hold because I didn't like the idea of going into hospital and being knocked out. And that became a silly little fear, and it grew. You're dead, you're a dead man. The cholesteatoma now has spread to the other ear, and it's taken my hearing down. I've got white noise in both ears. When it gets near the point of, your operation's next week, I knew it would be the death of me, because I would not be able to surpass it or overcome it.
Cognitive behaviour therapy includes exposure and ritual prevention. In other words, it's about trying to test out your fears, developing a different relationship to your thoughts, that these are just your own inner world and you cannot control them.
You allow the thoughts to be there, but you don't necessarily have the exact same reaction.
So you end up pulling it apart and figuring out a way of discerning what are authentic concerns versus what's done by OCD.
Combined with the medication, that's how I get through the day, get through life.
My first encounter with CBT was on the NHS. It was in a basement of a 4-storey building. I used to look up the building regulations of any building that I went into. I would check out their fire stuff, like when the last time they had a fire check was, like when the last time that the gas person was there. It was in the basement. This room was tiny. It had no windows. I couldn't help but feel like there wasn't enough air in there for the both of us. He had a shirt that didn't fit, that bothered me. His hair was not combed, that bothered me. He was like really red-faced. There were far too many things for me to think about to actually credit that person that was in front of me. I had no respect for him whatsoever. There's a possibility that I wasn't really ready to listen to anything that I felt was wrong, that how I was living wasn't great for me. And so I feel like I deflected a lot of my anger and the way that I was really feeling about my situation onto that person.
ERP, which stands for Exposure Response Prevention. It's about exposing yourself to that which you fear. So, say you were completely avoiding knives, you didn't even want to see one, you might go towards starting to use the knife for its intended purpose, perhaps using the knife around other people by exposing themselves to the very uncomfortable anxiety. You don't stay in that state of high anxiety forever, it will eventually start to go down.
So the last time I had gone to A&E by myself, that was when I was convinced that I was both a psychopath and I think a narcissist. And it's just the process of having to go up to that desk and then tell the person what's going on with you. And then you go and see somebody and there's nothing they can do. Their only concern is to work out whether or not you're either a danger to yourself or to the public. And if you're not, and they send you off on your own as well, which is a really quite horrible experience. I kind of feel like they should have specific sections in A&E departments for mental health issues, which I'm sure they probably do at some hospitals, but never one that I've been to.
Many people it can be cured. For some people it can only be managed, and for some people it's a struggle.
When I had Puro, mine was incredibly severe. I couldn't do anything else, and it was incredibly scary. It still does occasionally pop up, but it doesn't make me afraid. In fact, it really has no effect whatsoever. So it will pop up, and then maybe I won't have it anymore for the next couple of days. There's always been this big debate whether you cure or you manage. It depends what you consider to be cured.
Okay. Yeah, good place to stop. Really interesting stuff. Alright. Let me just make a part 2 real quick.